Hi everyone, this is going to be a review of the Space Police 1 Spy Trak, the original one, and an MOC version or an upgraded version that I've done. First, let's start with the original one. To be honest, I think this is one of the best space vehicles ever in the space set, especially for its steering mechanism. If you notice that, then you know that it has a all-wheels steering mechanism that can be controlled by this little middle panel, a middle section, so it can move around with all wheels. And it's not only the steering mechanism, the steering function that is amazing about this set, but how simple this is solved. We have some hinges in the bottom, and the synchronization between the front and the rear sections are solved by a simple Technic axle. Two Technic bricks keep them aligned, and this is how it works. The same applies for front side. An interesting aspect about this steering mechanism is that it wasn't this set where it was unique, it was also used in another Futuron set 1 year later, but they didn't apply a complete four-wheel steering mechanism. They have reduced it to a two-wheel steering mechanism, but still the same mechanism works pretty well, pretty simply in this set as well. To be honest, in a way, it's even more interesting how they could squeeze it in such a small set. But let's return to the Space Police 1 set, the Spy Trak. To be honest, the only criticism I can have about this set applies to a lot of other Space Police 1 sets as well. Almost all of the Space Police 1 set had the concept that they had a prison loaded to the back of the vehicle, and when you unload this prison, some of the vehicles do not look that good. It looks a little bit empty. And when I have decided to make an MOC version of this was one of the limitations I wanted to resolve, to make it a little bit more massive in the back, even when the cargo is unloaded. So let's start the review of the MOC itself. As I have said, I wanted to make it a little bit more aggressive, massive, and also make it a little bit more functional. The first thing I have done was applying mudguards on the model and all four wheels. In order to fit these onto the model, I had to make it some studs wider and some studs longer, but I didn't have to tweak around with the steering mechanism too much. It works pretty well even at a bigger scale. The second thing I wanted to change about this set is putting something in place of the prison cell. So I've decided to put there a little gunman who can turn around, maybe shoot for some Blacktron figures fighting with each other. But it need not stay in place. He can also unload himself and turn into an independent walker. Just a minute. Yes. Staying around like this, walk around, fight for even more Blacktron figures. The fun part for the loading of this little gunman is threefold. First, it doesn't connect stud against stud in a regular way, a normal way, but if you look at the bottom of this walker, it has rotated camera bricks, and they just hold by the sides. Oops, focus. So it just holds by the sides of the studs against this 2x2 Technic plate. Regular plate. If I put it on, yeah, and it connects. Also, I had to be very careful how to size it, because there are still some lamps here and I wanted to avoid them to touch. So everything is measured in micrometers here. As you can see, there are also some jets on the back of the vehicle, and to be honest, these were originally not added for design purposes, but because the foot of this walker, these little dishes, do not work together, do not have enough place when the vehicle is moved around. So I had to make a cut I hope it's visible here. Yeah, maybe I will zoom in. So I had to make there a cut to give place to the dish where it can go in. And once I had that, I didn't want to keep it empty, so I added there a bar, an antenna with some round bricks. Well, now this is how the vehicle looks after both the prison and the workers are unloaded. I think, okay, this is also a little bit empty, but still you can imagine that something can be put here when you walk around with this vehicle. It doesn't look so empty, so it shows there is a place for something, but it's not bare at least. But we can make it even more bare if we unload the cockpit, because this stands as a vehicle on its own. Now it looks empty again. So yeah, resolve one problem and you get another one for yourself. So this can be an independent plane on its own, fly around, again hunt for blacktons, whatever. It's not so complicated, so it's quite bricky, because it had to fit in to this place easily, but it has landing studs, so to say. It has a nice cockpit with some control panels. I tried to use all the panels that I had in the Space Police 1 set, and this reveals a little bit of cheating, both this cockpit and also if I bring back the walker. So here you have the walker. If you check this, then you can see there are two cheating parts. Why I say cheating? Because when I've designed this Spy Trak upscale, I've decided that I will use only those pieces that existed in the original Space Police 1 series, not necessarily in this set, but maybe in other Space Police 1 sets. So imagining a child who has all the sets, what he could make out of this Spy Trak, how he could upscale it. And there are two parts where I'm cheating. The first part where I'm cheating is this tile, this arrow tile, because it didn't exist in the Space Police 1 set. But since the other tile, the long arrow, did exist, I accepted it as a kind of cheating. Of course, I could also put there the long arrow, but when this walker is completely closed in, it looks much more reasonable for it to be pointing upwards. And the second thing I've been cheating with are these two transparent blue ties. To be honest, I've never understood why they didn't use some transparent blue ties in the Space Police 1 sets, because even in the future run, it had a major transparent colored blue, but they have been using some of the red, and I think they could have done the same for the Space Police 1 set, to use the transparent red as the major color, and maybe use some transparent blue here and there, because when you look at when you look at a police vehicle, usually it's red and blue, so I think it could have been used as well. Why not? So that's all. That's how this MOC looks when it's completely unloaded. I hope you liked it. If you like the video or make comments, ask anything. More to come. Thanks. Bye.